potassium nitrate has atomic weight of about 202, carbon is 36, sulfur is 32. What happens when the reaction is happening? Potassium sulfide is generated, carbon dioxide is released, and nitrogen is released. Now, when the gunpowder is put into a hollow tube, like which you must have seen in the Lakshmi bomb, and it is covered on the top with a packing, what will happen? The energy which is generated to the tune of about 3 megajoule will lead to the explosion of the firecracker. So what is the percentage in which potassium nitrate is present? It's present to the tune of about 75%, carbon is present to the tune of about 13%, and sulfur is present to the tune of about 12%. So we know the molecular weight of the potassium nitrate, we know the potassium weight of carbon, which is about 12. We know the potassium molecular weight of sulfur, which is 32. So based on that, we can see that what is going in is 270. Then we calculate what kind of emissions are coming out of it. So gunpowder is one category which we are talking about. The second category is flash powder. Flash powder is picked up more because it is less sensitive as compared to carbon. It has more energy. It has energy to the tune of about 9 megajoules. And what is the difference between gunpowder and flash powder? Flash powder is also having potassium nitrate and sulfur, but in this case, instead of carbon, you have aluminum powder. So when you are bursting it, you are able to generate more energy, which is about 9 megajoules of energy per weight, and this is how it is. In this case, the molecular weight of potassium nitrate, sulfur, we have already seen in the previous slide, but yes, in this case, that carbon was being put into use. In this case, it is aluminum which is being put into use. Carbon is C, that is 12. And it goes into CO2, aluminum goes into alumina. So obviously the particulate matter will be relatively more in this case as compared to the gunpowder. So this is how we can put into use our knowledge of chemistry in understanding what could be the possible emissions which could be happening and how we can control it. So this kind of balanced equation is required for the reaction to go into completion. In this case, can you see any NO2? No, because it's a balanced equation. It's going into complete reaction. Okay, so and neither can we see any SO2. But there are a lot of reports that when we burst firecrackers, there is SO2, there is NO2. It will not happen if you have a balanced equations of having 59% potassium nitrate, aluminum to the tune of about 32 to 33%, and sulfur to the tune of about 9%. That is why the chemistry, the chemical formulation, the balanced equations all play a very, very important role. And that is the science I wanted to impress upon you. That is a beautiful chemistry. There's a beautiful science existing in this, which got ignored over a period of time, and because of this it led to the burning issue, environmental issues. Okay, very important again, oxygen balance. We have talked about the oxidizers, we have talked about the fuel, we have talked about sulfur as a reducing agent. What is all this about? All that matters is in the firework is how much of oxygen which is available for the fuel. I'm sure you understand it's the oxygen which reacts with the fuel for the fuel to burn and generate the energy. And how do you calculate that? This depends on the oxygen balance. If the oxygen balance is positive, that means there is sufficient oxygen available for it to react with the fuel, and therefore there will be less of unreacted fuel available, and therefore less of emission or particulates being released in unreacted way. Okay, now if the balance is 0, that means it is a perfectly balanced stoichiometric mixture. And if it is negative, that means the oxygen is less, and obviously it will lead to a lot of unreacted chemicals being released, like the potassium nitrate will be released unreacted, the sulfur will be released unreacted, the fuel will be released unreacted. So I'm sure you understand that oxygen balance is very important. I will not bore you with the details. This is the equation by which we calculate the oxygen balance. And those who are interested, you can get back to me. We'll share these equations. We'll share these details with you as to how important these balanced equations in stoichiometry are all about. So coming to back to the composition of firecrackers, I have discussed flash powder with you all. I have discussed the gunpowder with you all. And then in this picture, you can see that the fuel which we are talking about is the aluminum or the magnesium, titanium or ferrotitanium. Now, these metals react with the oxygen, which I was talking about, which comes from the oxidizers, and they produce the metal oxides. So what are the oxidizers? This also we have discussed. We can use nitrates. That could be the potassium nitrate, the potassium perchlorate, of course, is not being used in our country. But yes, majorly potassium nitrate is being put into use. In some of the firework manufacturers, they put into use the perchlorate, especially in the aerial shots, so on and so forth. And what are the binders? The binders are usually that's being put into use is usually dextrane. And this also I've discussed with you. What are the different metals? Strontium gives you red color, barium gives you green color, copper gives you blue color, calcium gives you orange color, sodium gives you yellow color. Okay, so then there are people who use a combination of different colors to produce different color, like purple, I think, is strontium, as well as copper, so on and so forth. So this again summarizes the composition of fireworks which goes into it. Now, having said that, I'll come to the pollution part of it. We are an institution which works on different kind of environmental issues. And why we got interested into fireworks? Because we all understand, and we've all been hearing that there's a lot of pollution happening from fireworks. So this should bring you a curiosity as to why firework leads to pollution. So that is what I wanted to impress upon you, that if you use the right documented balanced formulations, you can definitely reduce pollution, probably which is not happening, which leads to a lot of pollution. So what are the pollutants which are being emitted from the fireworks? First and foremost, it's particulate matter. Any particle size which is less than 10 is of concern to us, because it's lead to lot of adverse effects on our health, especially on respiratory and cardiovascular systems. If the size of the particle is less than 2.5, we call it as PM 2.5. Metals I've already talked about, oxidizers I've already talked about. Then coming to the polluting gases, there's a lot of hue and cry that a lot of NO2 is being generated, a lot of SO2 is being generated. It's true, it is being generated. But why? The science, the chemistry, if you look into it, if you will use the stoichiometry equation, this will not happen. It will lead to nitrogen. But yes, NO2 and all this is happening because the oxygen which is present is not sufficient. I do not know how many of you are familiar, but this is a very, very important thing which would definitely should be there in your minds. There is National Ambient Air Quality Standards existing. You can find out this from different online platforms. And then we know what are the stipulated limits which should be followed. Like in the case of SO2, it is the annual average is about 50, 24 hours is about 20. So NO2 is also given, PM is given. So these are the limits which have to be followed in the ambient air. And this is very relevant because now in Nagpur, I'm sure you must have read in the paper today that MPCB has said that probably green crackers can be bursted in our city because the air quality falls in reasonably decent range. Now, what is this? How do they come to this conclusion? They come to this conclusion on the basis of air quality index. And air quality index is a very, very important tool, which is very effective in communicating to people what is the air quality status in terms for you to understand what's happening in your city. And this was launched by our Honorable Prime Minister way back in 2015, in which the complex air quality data, you saw in the previous slide, how many parameters are there. If I give you these parameters with the concentrations, and still I'm sure you cannot understand what is the air quality of our state, of our city. So to simplify things, a air quality index has been developed, wherein you don't have to deal with complex set of data of various pollutants, but a simple air quality index can help you in deciding what is the state of your city. Okay, so today in the paper it was that Nagpur is reasonably decent state, decent, having a decent air quality index or a good air quality. That means we fall in the category of 0 to 50. If it is between 51 to 100, then the air quality status is just satisfactory. It may lead to breathing discomfort. If there is moderate, then definitely breathing discomfort along with asthma, other kind of problems to the diseased children and older adult is possible. 201 to 300, of course, is a very, very poor status. It can lead to a lot of heart and other lung related complications. Very poor and severe, of course, it will be still very problematic. I'm sure reading and understanding a lot of things which are going on in the TV, the media, the so these are the air quality index parameters based on which, related of course to the health breakpoint, which helps you in assessing whether we should be going in for certain implementation measures or not. So before I conclude my lecture, I'm sure you must have heard a lot that our institute has done work on reduced emission crackers, which is also now popularly known as green crackers. Now, we did a lot of work. I'm not going to bore you with all the details. This tells you what we have been doing in reduced emission crackers. You know, I told you that the quality of chemical is very, very important. What is the quality of chemical you are using? You should be using 99.9% pure of potassium nitrate. If you are not doing that, then obviously the balance 10 to 15% of the unreacted chemical which you are using will be released as a particulate matter. I would be very happy if you visit our institute. We have established a emission testing facility wherein we test the different firecrackers which are being made in our country across by different manufacturers across the country, and here we are doing all the testing wherein we measure what kind of emissions are coming from the firework manufacturers as reduced emission crackers, and then we are also trying to reduce post-combustion systems to reduce the green crackers. Now I'll quickly take you through green crackers, which I'm sure many of you are belonging to this city and you must be having the curiosity to green crackers. What is NEERI doing in green crackers? There are frequently asked questions like why we had to go in for making the green crackers, what are green crackers, how are they made, and different kind of questions. So I'll quickly take you through this. I will not bore you with much of the, probably as the citizens of India, and you will also have a very important role to play in future. You need to understand some of the things which led our institute to come into this picture of developing green crackers and why we did it. Okay. There was a ban imposed by Apex Court, which is a Supreme Court, way back in 2017, because of it affected a lot of firework manufacturers. You know, we have a annual turnover of nearly 6,000 crore worth industry sitting or doing manufacturing fireworks, and it also has an annual growth rate of 10%. So when the ban was imposed, it was hitting nearly 5 to 8 lakh families, which is directly or indirectly dependent on making of the firework manufacturer. So our Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Harshvardhan, approached our CSIR scientific community to initiate and find solution to this problem. First thing is, we should not be ignoring the environmental issue problem. We should definitely definitely be addressing the environmental issue problem, but at the same time try to protect the life of so many people who were dependent on this. So with this in background, we were several laboratories who came forward, and then we developed the green crackers, and Apex Court was okay with the findings of CSIR, and then they partially lifted the ban on the sale of firecrackers by saying that yes, you can do sale crackers, but it would be only green crackers. So this directive was given by the Apex Court in October 2018. And why it is called green crackers? Now you need to go and understand that there are 12 principles involved in the green chemistry, which is basically the different elements which are shown over here. But we call it as green crackers because of 4 reasons. One, it generates less of emissions. We are using less of chemicals. And secondly, we are using less of toxic chemicals like barium, nitrate, so on and so forth. And then we have put into use some innovative concept of using catalyst as well as other additives in addressing these issues. So these green crackers was launched by our minister, that's our Minister Dr. Harshvardhan Singh, and this launching was done on 5th of October 2019. So these are the different green crackers which are available with us. You can visit our institute anytime. You can come and see these kind of crackers. These are the brochures which are available in the public domain, which will give you a lot of information about the different kind of crackers. We have more than 500 firework manufacturers who are working with us. We have issued more than 1,000 certificates. Okay, so now coming, I have told you what was firecracker definition. Now the definition is revised. What are green crackers? This is a very important definition, probably, which you also should try to understand. Green firecrackers are those which gives you particulate matter reduction by 30% and reduction in gases by tune of about 10%, or with a combination of 20% reduction in particulate matter. So any firecracker which is giving you over the conventional firecracker which was being used before October 2018, which gives you reduction in particulate matter by 30% or a combination of 20 and 10% for PM and gaseous emission, then it comes in the category of green crackers. And in green crackers, we have 2 sets of crackers. One is the improved and one is new. In improved, it is typically the same conventional cracker in the presence of certain additives which we have identified, which leads to this. And in the new formulations, we have identified different type of crackers. So now when we talk about sound, what is happening? These are the rules which are existing. The decibel level should not be more than 125 dBi. So if you want to understand what are the sound levels, what is the decibel levels, please visit us. We'll make you understand. We have all these platforms available with us. This is the sound testing or the noise testing facility which we have at our institute. You can see here we place the fireworks, and at a distance of 4 meters we measured the different sound levels. We have the sound level meters with us by which we are measuring the sound levels. And when it comes to how green crackers are being made, these are the different ways in which we are making. I've already mentioned it is improved formulations in which we are typically using the same conventional formulations in the presence of an additive. New formulations, we are using new oxidizers, new fuel, so on and so forth. And in situ capture, what are we doing in that? We are giving it a coating inside so that it captures the emissions there only. So we have made different type of sound crackers, sparklers, light emitting crackers. I do not know how many of you have heard, but this is the brand name which we have given to the different sound emitting crackers which have been developed by our institute, which is STAR, that is the safe thermite cracker, SWAS, that is safe water releaser cracker, and SUFFLE, in which we are using minimal amount of aluminum. So this is the STAR cracker, which you will see some of these crackers are already there in the market. market. And what is STAR? STAR is a safe thermite cracker in which instead of potassium nitrate, we have put into use metal oxide. So there is no potassium nitrate, there is no NO2 being released. We are getting sufficient oxygen from the metal oxide. So these are the kind of different chemistry science which we have put into use for reducing the gaseous emission, the particulate matter, so on and so forth. So those who are interested in having more information, you can definitely get back to me and discuss. You can see this is the pyrotechnic formulation which we have developed, wherein the oxidizer which is previously being used is about 57%. We have reduced the use of oxidizer to 28% in this case. The particulate matter reduction is to the tune of about 32%. Okay, so this is with respect to one particular formulation which we have put into use in the sound emitting cracker. You can see from the conventional formulation and the improved formulation that there is significant reduction in the amount of chemical which we have put into use. Aluminium was 33%. Now it has gone down to 13.2%. This was 57%. Now it has come back to 22.8%. Now, how did this happen? Besides using all this, we have put it into use NEERI's proprietary material, which has helped us in reducing the quantity of chemicals, but at the same time, we are able to maintain its functional performance in terms of sound, in terms of light, so on and so forth. Now, this is another category which is SAFAL, that is safe minimal aluminum cracker. I will not go much into the details. Those who are interested, they can definitely get back to me. Here again, we were able to reduce by 30%. And in this, you can see that there is a significant reduction again in the different kind of chemicals which were being put into use in the conventional formulations as against the improved formulation. The third category which we have developed is SWAS. This is very interesting. We all know that we sprinkle water, the particulate matter or the dust can settle. So the same principle has been put into use over here. In this case, we have introduce certain additives which can release water when we are igniting it. So obviously when the water is released, it will lead to the settling down of the particulate matter, and obviously there will be a reduction in the particulate matter. Besides releasing water in these kind of, we are also using certain additives which can release oxygen. Now when oxygen is released, I'm sure you can all understand it works as a diluent for the different toxic gases like NO2, so on and so forth, which is being released. So this is a special kind of cracker which has been developed by us, in which we are using different type of additives, which obviously leads to the reduction of the chemicals, which I've also mentioned previously. But in addition to that, it leads to the release of water as well as oxygen and air, which leads to dilution of gases as well as reduction in particulate matter. So these are the different crackers, green crackers, which were developed by us. Stability is very important. It should be stable over a period of time. So we have been testing for more than a year and it is quite stable. We do the testing at different temperatures. It's quite stable because Nagpur has a very high temperature of about 47 to 50. We have tested it up to 60 degrees Celsius, more than 60 degrees Celsius. It is not unstable. It can be kept as such for comfortably for 3 to 5 years. Cost wise also it is at par with the cracker which is available in the market. So these are the different steps which is being implemented for green crackers, and it is available at our site. Please go through the site, and if you have any questions, please let us know. This is our site which gives you the tab which gives you all the details related to green crackers, the formulations which have been put into use. This is the kind of certificate which we are giving to the firework manufacturers who have taken the formulations from us. They are registered with us. This is the kind of green logo which you should try to search and find out if they have put it into use. Then only they can say that it is the green cracker. We went to the Sivakasi industry, which I have already told you is the fireworks hub. We gave several demonstrations of all our different firecracker formulations which we have made. I'm sure you all know that Standard Fireworks is one of the standard company as far as the formulations are concerned. So this is the CEO of Standard Fireworks, and this is our team which visited the firework industry in Sivkasi. We demonstrated, and now they have taken up all our technologies, and they are the key players who are manufacturing the different type of firework manufacturers. Other than them, we have several: Kaleshwari, Anil, Sony, name it, and we have all the major players on board with our institute for manufacturing the different type of firecrackers. They submit the firecrackers to us. These are the different firecrackers which is tested, and then we issue this kind of emission testing certificate which tells whether the cracker which they have developed is meeting the norms of particulate matter reduction. This is the kind of facility which is existing at our institute. Please visit and have a look at it. These are the different facilities. And lastly, this is very important. This is the QR code which is an encrypted QR code which is being printed on the firework manufacturers to differentiate it from the conventional crackers. And when we scan this QR code using an encrypted scanner, then we get all the information with respect to the formulation, the emission reduction, so on and so forth. So this quickly tells you what we are trying to do. And this is a dedicated help desk center which is there at NEERI, wherein we go in for registration, we receive the sample, we do the testing, we issue the certificates, we issue the QR code, so on and so forth. So for your reading, this is a very, very interesting article which is of huge interest to any chemist who wants to start his or her career, satisfy his curiosity as far as the chemistry of fireworks is concerned. So please go through it, and if you do not get an access to this article, do write to me. I'll definitely share this article with you. So thank you so much for being there with us and listening to us. What is firecracker all about, and what is the green cracker which NEERI has been talking about? So thank you so much, and I will now try to address some of the questions which definitely is there in your mind. So thank you so much for a very patient listening. Yeah.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Thank you. Actually, students, आपने तो अभी मैडम को सुना, तो आप जो देख रहे होंगे, आप पटाखे अभी लेंगे या लेने जा रहे होंगे दिवाली पे, तो जो कलर्स है उसमें जो लाइट है, तो उसके पीछे का जो केमिस्ट्री है आपको समझ में आई होगी। और हमारा जो आज का कार्यक्रम है, जो इवेंट है, वो इसी को पूरा हमारा एड्रेस करने का था। तो आपने देखा होगा कि केमिस्ट्री कितना एक जो सब्जेक्ट है उससे क्या क्या पॉसिबल हो सकता है ना। तो आपका जो पटाखे लेने में जब फोड़ते हैं घर में, तो जो क्यूरियोसिटी आपको जो डेवलप होती है या होती होगी, तो क्यूरियोसिटी आज आपकी सेटिस्फाई करने का हमने जो NEERI ने पूरा प्रयास किया है, और जो जिज्ञासा है इसका ऑब्जेक्टिव भी यही है। तो आपने जैसे मैडम ने बताया, जो ऑक्सीडाइजर्स है, कलरेंट्स है या बाइंडर्स है, और फिर उन्होंने ग्रीन क्रैकर्स भी, फायर क्रैकर्स का जो NEERI का कंट्रीब्यूशन है, इवोल्यूशन से लेकर तो पूरा जो इम्प्लीमेंटेशन तक, उसके बाद जो इम्पोर्टेंस क्या रहा है फायर क्रैकर्स का, किस तरह से शुरुआत से जो इवोल्यूशन था बिगिनिंग से, तो सारी चीजें आपने देखी, उसके अंदर की केमिस्ट्री भी देखी। तो मुझे लगता है हम जो है कार्यक्रम से आपको फायर क्रैकर्स का जो साइंस है उसको के साथ जो मैडम ने प्रयास किया, उसमें हम सफल हुए। अब मैं सीधा क्वेश्चन पे आता हूं। तो जो भी जिसको भी अपने सवाल पूछने हैं, जिस स्टूडेंट को, तो वो अपना म्यूट करेगा और उसके बाद जो है वो सवाल पूछेगा। तो एक एक करके आप सवाल पूछिए, मैडम प्रयास करेंगी पूरा आपको आंसर देने की। पूछिए प्लीज। स्टूडेंट्स, मैडम आप शेयरिंग बंद कर देंगे ना?
ओके।
हाँ। कोई भी नहीं पूछना चाहता स्टूडेंट्स?
कोई बात नहीं, आप लोग अपने क्वेश्चंस लिख के भी भेज सकते हैं, और आपको जो भी इंफॉर्मेशन चाहिए प्लीज फील फ्री, यू कैन राइट टू डॉक्टर कुमारे एंड ही विल share all the questions or whatever information you need from us. Okay, it's okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, please.
अच्छा, हाँ
Ma'am, I have a doubt. मैम
Yeah, please.
मेरा डाउट ये है कि जो एलिमेंट रहते हैं उनके साइज के वजह से भी कलर में कुछ अफेक्ट पड़ता है?
जो एलिमेंट रहते हैं उनके साइज, यस आई टोल्ड यू ना, बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी सॉलिड रिएक्शन, द काइंड ऑफ particle size which you have put into use will directly determine the reaction. Okay, so the more the reaction, obviously more the heat. If more the heat, the metal will be released instantaneously or in a very slow fashion. So it has a direct implication on the metal which is released, and in turn on the color which is generated, which you will be able to witness. Okay, so particle size is critical because it's a solid reaction. The homogeneity, and smaller the particle size, more will be the reaction.
और कोई पूछना चाहता है प्रश्न मैडम से?
वेरी नाइस प्रोग्राम मैम, वेरी नाइस प्रोग्राम।
थैंक यू सो मच।
सवाल पूछिए अगर है तो, नहीं तो हम कंक्लूड करते हैं फिर। चलिए, मुझे लग रहा है कोई मैडम सब फटाके फोड़ने के लिए जाना चाहते हैं, तो शायद आपका जो केमिस्ट्री है फटाके की, फायर क्रैकर्स की, सबसे समझ ली होगी ऐसी मैं उम्मीद करता हूं। और इसी के साथ हमारे जो डॉक्टर पुरोहित है, सीनियर मोस्ट साइंटिस्ट, वो भी हमारे साथ जुड़ गए हैं अभी। तो मैं उनसे कहूंगा कि सर आप थोड़ा सा गाइड कीजिए, स्टूडेंट्स को एड्रेस कीजिए प्लीज। पुरोहित साहब सुन पा रहे हैं आप हमें?
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, आपको मैं दिख रहा हूँ?
हाँ बिल्कुल सर, आप दिख रहे हैं। हाँ अभी आ, हाँ बिल्कुल।
सबसे पहले तो बधाई है साधना को, बहुत ही अच्छी तरह से उसने स्टूडेंट लोगों से अपनी बात रखी और इस तरह से उन्हें समझाया कि वो लोगों को इतना समझ में आ गया कि वो कुछ पूछ ही नहीं पाए।
नहीं सर, YouTube पे काफी क्वेश्चंस है, लेकिन वो अभी स्क्रीन करना पड़ेगा, इसलिए वो ले नहीं पा रहे। कुछ स्टूडेंट्स ऑलरेडी
तो मेरा सुझाव यही रहेगा कि जो स्टूडेंट्स के ये जो प्रश्न है इसको हम बाद में भी इसका जवाब दे सकते हैं। और सबसे अच्छा मुझे साधना का सुझाव ये लगा कि उन्होंने सबको वापस से अपना आमंत्रण दिया है, निमंत्रण दिया है, इनवाइट किया है कि आपको कोई भी कंफ्यूजन हो, कोई भी डिटेल पूछना हो तो जरूर आए। और मेरे हिसाब से दिवाली के बाद तो हमने जरूर, या दिवाली के आसपास जरूर, ये 1 घंटे का प्रोग्राम रखना चाहिए जिसमें हम बच्चों को बुला के ये दिखा सकें कि हमारे पास जो फैसिलिटी है तो उसमें ग्रीन क्रैकर्स से हम कैसे उसका जो साउंड लेवल है उसको हम चेक करते हैं, कैसे पोल्यूशन लेवल चेक करते हैं। और उन्हें ये समझ में आएगा कि इस तरह से यदि हमें पता है तो वो उसका जब उपयोग करेंगे या उसको एंजॉय करेंगे तो उस समय वो क्या सावधानी लेना है या क्या नहीं लेना है वो उन्हें समझ में आएगा।
बिल्कुल।
ये सभी प्रोग्राम हम अंडर जिज्ञासा कर रहे हैं। जिज्ञासा का मतलब होता है क्यूरियोसिटी। पूरा आइडिया हमारा यही है कि हर स्टूडेंट में, चाहे वो कोई भी स्कूल का हो, चाहे वो केंद्रीय विद्यालय का हो, चाहे वो जिला परिषद स्कूल का हो, चाहे वो नवोदय विद्यालय का हो, चाहे वो किसी भी प्रांत का हो, हम उसमें इस प्रकार से एक जिज्ञासा, क्यूरियोसिटी उसमें डालना चाहते हैं कि उनको हकीकत समझ में आए कि इश्यूज क्या होते हैं। जब कोई कहता है कि फटाके मत फोड़ो, कम फोड़ो या ग्रीन क्रैकर ही फोड़ो, तो ऐसा क्यों, उसके क्या इम्प्लीकेशंस होते हैं। जैसे मैडम ने बताया कि एयर क्वालिटी इंडेक्स होता है, हर इंडेक्स के साथ में एक जो बीमारियां जुड़ी हुई है, आप यदि उसको एक्सपोज होते हैं तो आप क्या क्या उससे अपने आप और दूसरों को उससे आप प्रभावित करते हैं, वो आपको समझ में आया होगा। और ये सब कुछ जो जिज्ञासा प्रोग्राम है ये हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी के विजन का पार्ट है, जिसको काउंसिल ऑफ साइंटिफिक एंड इंडस्ट्रियल रिसर्च, जो हमारी पेरेंट बॉडी है, उनकी इच्छा से और हम लोगों की उनकी प्रेरणा से हमने ये काम शुरू किया है, जिसके तहत एक साइंटिफिक सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जो है हमारी, वो हम लाना चाहते हैं। और सिर्फ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं है, हम उस तरह का एक माहौल क्रिएट करना चाहते हैं जिसमें कि बच्चों को ये समझ में आए, हर चीज के साथ में जो विज्ञान और जो साइंस जुड़ा हुआ हो, वो उसके आसपास रहें और उसको अपनी हर रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी में उसको समझ के उपयोग करें। वैसे भी आप लोगों को पता है कि इस समय ये कोविड का टाइम चल रहा है और ये आप जनरेट करते हैं तो ये कोविड के पार्टिकल उस पार्टिकुलेट मैटर पे एब्जॉर्ब हो जाते हैं, और जब वो एब्जॉर्ब हो जाते हैं तो हर पार्टिकुलर मैटर एक कोविड की बुलेट बन जाएगा। तो हमें इसका ध्यान रखना है कि हम इस तरह का कुछ नहीं करें जिससे कि हम समाज को और अपने आप को प्रभावित करें। आप सब लोगों को अच्छी दिवाली की शुभकामनाएं देता हूं और आपको आमंत्रित करता हूं, जब भी आपको पटाखों के बारे में और जानना है, साधना मैडम आपके लिए हमेशा अवेलेबल है। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू सर, बहुत बहुत इंफॉर्मेटिव आपका जो एड्रेस था उसके लिए, क्योंकि स्टूडेंट्स समझ पाए होंगे कि जो इसके एडवांटेजेस और डिसएडवांटेजेस भी क्या है। केमिस्ट्री साइंस का हमेशा आपने देखा होगा ए से बहुत आते हैं जनरल, चाहे हाई स्कूल लेवल पे हो या जूनियर कॉलेज पे। तो मेरे ख्याल से मैंने बहुत बार देखा है कि साइंस एडवांटेजेस एंड डिसएडवांटेजेस हमेशा एक टॉपिक बहुत पॉपुलर होता है और बहुत अमूमन आता है। तो स्टूडेंट्स, मुझे लगता है ये सारी चीजें एडवांटेजेस डिसएडवांटेजेस जैसे पूरे साहब ने कहा, रायडू मैडम ने कहा, सभी आप समझ पाए होंगे। मैडम मीनाक्षी मैडम, आपको कुछ कहना है?
क्रैकर्स वाज रियली वेरी गुड। द ग्रीन क्रैकर्स है ना, जो ग्रीन क्रैकर्स के बारे में बताएं, दैट वाज रियली वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। And even also the spectrum of colors also that she talked about, that was also too good. And even the redox reactions that was related to the chapters in class 10, so that was also too good for the students to attend. And overall it was very good program. And really this program was is really useful for all the students, and really a wonderful program.
मैडम आप म्यूट पे हैं।
Sir, actually the program was too good, and really that program on that is on green crackers and the spectrum of colors, that the slides that she shared, each and every slide was really wonderful. And really even about the redox reactions she was talking about in the beginning, that is of syllabus, a part of the syllabus of class 10 chemistry. So that was really very good for all the students. Even all the other slides also, why the name has come and how the history also, the starting when she began the program, that was also too good. And overall, the program was too good and very informative. And that too, in the event of the Diwali, this topic was taken. That is too much interesting. And really it has developed an interest in all the students to know the present situation and the present details of that topic which we are dealing with, that is the crackers we are dealing with. And about that she has talked about so well dealt, and each and every slide was very informative. I've taken so many pics of that, screenshots of that slide. I don't know whether the slides will be shared with us, so I took all the slides screenshots liya hai sabhi slides ka. Really thankful to you, ma'am, for such a nice presentation and nice explanation. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you, NEERI also, and Jigyasa team. Really, you have created a scientific temper in us. This is a real scientific temper inside us, which you have put in us. That is a real thing. And thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Dr. and myself are very strong advocates of science. Okay. Yes. And Dr. Kumbhare facilitates it, and we believe that science starts from the mind of a child. Okay. So we are trying to do whatever we can, okay, at our end, okay.
Especially when you're talking about this chemistry, I remember Madam Marie Curie. She's the top chemist, of the world, I can say. And her words, when she got the Nobel Prize in chemistry, she said nice words. That is after receiving the Nobel Prize, she said a 12-minute speech, and in that last two lines, let me tell you the last two lines, she said, that is, take your own light, that is, you shine by your own light. That is, she said that build the palace of your future, she said. That is, you have to gain knowledge and you build the palace of your future. So that is what she said, that even though she has done so much of work, and it is such a small work she has done, and so much to discover yet, she said that. and that was too good, you know. And she's the first, first woman in this whole world who has got the Nobel Prize in 2 streams of science, and also the only person in the world whose all the family members had received Nobel Prize. So you see her husband, her 2 daughters, everybody. So yeah, women educated means the whole family is getting educated. So this is about Madam Marie Curie. And now I'm seeing you today with such a nice program in chemistry overall. And really, I'm fascinated by your talks and your presentation, ma'am. And thank you